First things first, I'm Jenna Wolf. We got Nick Wright. We got a caffeinated Brandon Marshall. Kevin Wiles, also, I'm sure, down a couple cups this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, he is. Yes, we got ourselves a big game tonight to talk about. You're going to need some, what is it, Big Face Coffee? Is that Jimmy Butler's coffee?
Big Face Coffee.
It's like 20 bucks ahead of tonight's big game. It is very pricey. It is almost up to Nick's standards. All right, let's get into talking about tonight's big game. The finals open up. We waited a long time for this. Lakers Heat, nearly every odds maker out there giving Miami little to no shot. But LeBron James hears none of that. He is locked in. He is focused. He is ready for game one tonight. Both teams have been dominant over this playoff stretch. Each only lost 3 games on their road to the finals. Here is LeBron on just how tough that road has been.
Probably been the most challenging thing I've ever done as far as a professional, as far as committing to something and actually, making it through. But I knew what I was coming, what we were coming here for. Obviously, you didn't. I would be lying if I sat up here and knew that everything inside the bubble would, what it would, the toll that it would take on your mind and your body and, and everything else. Because it's been extremely tough. But I'm here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to compete for a championship.
You know, you've heard that from a lot of players, just how tough the bubble stretch has been for a lot of these guys. But here we are, we're at the end, 2 teams left standing, Lakers, Heat. Nick, who needs tonight's game 1 win more, the Lakers or the Heat?
Well, the answer to that question to me is unequivocally, unquestionably the Miami Heat. And that's because Kevin Wiles, as you know, and as we've discussed, if you're tied in a series against LeBron James, what are you actually? You're trailing.
You're actually losing.
So right now, the Heat, you're losing. So right now, the Heat are losing the series because it's 0-0. So they need game 1 in order to even things up to get up 1-0. Additionally, here's another thing we know. The Miami Heat, by the way, this is a very good team. This is not a 5 seed. And I say that not in the way people are like, Portland's not an 8 seed. I say it in this way. They are a totally different team than they were pre-shutdown. During the pre-shutdown, Myers Leonard started 50 games for him. He's played 9 minutes, not 9 games, 9 minutes total in the bubble. Tyler Hero went from a nice second-team all-rookie performer to a guy who averaged nearly 20 points a game. Bam Adebayo is trying to take that leap into star, if not superstardom, that so many people thought Jason Tatum was going to take. This is a really good Miami Heat team, and that is not even mentioning Jimmy Butler. But they cannot beat the Los Angeles Lakers in a 7th game, which means they have to win 4 out of 6. They have to win 4 games in the first 6, which means they got to win game 1 because you're also not beating them 4 out of 5. The vice can really start to tighten on you here. So we know the Lakers can come back from 0-1. We know LeBron can come back from 0-1, Brandon, but the Miami Heat cannot. So you hesitate to call game 1 a must-win, but for the Miami Heat, it absolutely unequivocally is. Because if this thing goes 7, they lose. So they've got 6 opportunities to win 4. They absolutely must get one of them this evening.
So just to clarify, did you say the Heat or the Lakers is more important for the Heat or the Lakers?
Oh, it's just absolutely more important for the Heat. Yeah, it's more important for the Heat. The Heat have to win tonight in order to have a chance in the series.
Okay, no, I disagree with you. I think it's the Lakers. It's the Lakers because if you go back to last year, these 2 teams were sitting at home during this time. They didn't make the playoffs. And when we were having this discussion last year, as far as LeBron James and if AD was going to come and how this turned out, we definitely thought that the Lakers would be in this position. We knew that they would be contenders. We didn't think that the Heat would be here. And I say all that to say this. The Heat is playing with house money. I don't think internally they're thinking, you know, hey, we're not supposed to be here, so we're going to, you know, just go out there and play loose. I think they believe they should be here. They deserve to be here. They're good enough to beat this team. But outside looking in, we know, man, the Heat, man, they overachieved this year. There's so many different discussions here. You got LeBron James. If LeBron James loses this series, he'll be looking at a 3-7 record. And you know, as far as his finals record, I don't know if it changes his legacy. I don't know if it changes that discussion. You know, he wore that shirt that said "Leave a Legacy." Now I know he's one of the greatest of all time, but I also know that he's going to be the greatest of all time. And I don't know if you can be in that discussion if you lose this series. So this game is more important for the Lakers. It's more important for the Heat. I think it's going to come down to two players, the hottest offensive player in the bubble during the playoffs and the hottest defensive player in the bubble during the playoffs. That's Bam and AD. AD has not seen a matchup like this yet. Look what Bam did to Giannis. This is going to be really interesting. I think Game 1 is going to say a lot. We'll see how this thing shapes out by the end of this game.
Hey, Nick, who is the Nick Wright for the Heat? And by that I mean you were on an island on Clippers Denver. Is there anyone out there that is the current Nick Wright of the NBA Finals that you see that's like, oh, that person's really locked in on the Heat? Is there anyone out there, or is it just all Lakers all the time?
Oh, like prognosticator? You think? Oh, yeah. There's
Who's out
Chris
there?
Vernon, who co-hosts the Ringer NBA show with Kevin O'Connor.
Yeah, of course,
he
Chris.
picked the Heat in 6. I think someone on this show might at some point pick the Heat in 6. I'm not certain. I know, Wild, you desperately want to because of your affinity to Jimmy Butler and Big Face Coffee and Lululemon paraphernalia that you would like to. Jen, I know, is rooting for the Heat just because she likes to see me feel pain. There's plenty, I'm sure, your dear friend Paul Pierce is going to explain why the Heat are actually the better team. So, yeah, they're out there. I mean, this is there will certainly be more people, Wilds, picking the Heat to beat the Lakers than we're picking the Nuggets to beat the Clippers. There's no question about that, Wilds.
Okay, because I feel like I just see Lakers, and I'll read a big analysis of it, and at the end it'll say, oh, but it's the Lakers. And I think we can look at this a lot of ways, but we got to hope for a surprise. And it comes down to this, Brandon. Can a team beat two guys? And if you think the answer is no, then you take the Lakers. And it's happened one other time, and it's happened to the 2004 Pistons. In that series, Shaq went for 26 and 10, and Kobe went for 23. But the Pistons, Richard Hamilton went for 21, Chauncey went for 21, Rasheed went for 13 and 8, Ben went for 10 and 13, and Tayshaun went for 10 and 7. And that team beat the Lakers 4-1. So if the team concept is going to beat the two guys, I think we're going to see it in Game 1 because I think you have to see it right away.
Yeah,
we know
good.
the chemistry of the Heat is fantastic, and they have the same balance in scoring, Nick. Who's going to, when we talk about Chauncey was obviously MVP of that series. Who would, if the Heat win, which I know you don't like to sort of like have a creative, thinking exercise, who would be MVP? Maybe it'd be Bam.
Bam.
Maybe it'd be Dragic.
No, it's Bam.
Maybe it'd be Tyler Hero. But any one of these guys... Any one of these guys could be MVP for the Heat if they won. They're just much more balanced, and I think it comes down to team concept versus two guys. I still think the Lakers win it.
Good.
But but there is a blueprint with the 2004 Pistons of how it could go the other way.
Just very quickly here, if the Heat
100%.
were to win, and I'm not dismissing it as an impossibility, Bam would have to be the MVP. But the difference between the 2020 Lakers and the 2004 Lakers is, you're right, it's a collection of talent versus two stars, similar to the 04 Finals. But the 04 Lakers hated each other. And the 2020 Lakers love each other. That team was ripping apart at the seams throughout the season, and we saw it metastasize in the finals. So while you're right as far as production, the 2020 Lakers are two guys and then a bunch of role players. As far as team unity, they have no similarities to those 04 Lakers, Jenna.
And it's not always a good thing when everyone's picking one team to win. That can weigh teams listen, teams read. It's not great for the Lakers.
Brandon, are you about to make a pick? Wait, Jenna, sorry, hold on.
I didn't
Do
say
it.
anything.
Heat and what,
Jenna told me
Brandon?
to
Do it.
wait. Jenna told me to wait. Jenna told me to
my
wait. I
God.
got to listen to the boss.
Let's
I
make
gotta
it.
listen
Let's
to the
make it
boss.
a pure tease. Thank you so much. We're going to get to who exactly Brandon Marshall is picking in this series, although he gave half of it away.
And who I'm
Again,
picking.
LeBron James
I didn't
making
give him
his
my pick.
10th
Maybe.
finals
Maybe.
appearance tonight. Talk to some NFL. Why is Cam Newton comparing himself to Tom Brady and Russell Wilson? We'll tell you next. First things first. Hold off a couple more minutes, Brandon.